What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. I'm at DSR, and today we're taking out this absolutely beautiful Ducati Streetfighter V4S for 2025. Now that is the bigger brother, the Practicality V4S, and as you can tell looking at them, they've taken a lot of the styling from the 25 Practicality and whacked it onto the Streetfighter. Well, let's get on and enjoy this bike. At the minute, I've got it in road mode, and we are doing a little bit of town riding so we can get out of Bridgwater. And even in road, that throttle is very responsive, should we say. I'm pretty sure this is the new and improved dash. This is a 6.5-inch TFT screen. And we've definitely got some more information on there compared to last time. On the left-hand side, you can kind of rotate through different screens of what you want to see. And at the minute, I've got it showing me the percentage of my power, my throttle, and the torque that I'm using. You've got your standard trip information. I believe that's like the G-force. And then also on the lean angle screen, you have got your brake and throttle kind of showing you how much you're using as well. So overall, a lot of information obviously can be displayed. How often you're going to be looking down at the screen and looking at your lean angle, how much throttle you're using. Half the time I do feel like it's a little bit gimmicky. That for me is definitely something to be more track orientated information. In second gear, I'm easily holding 20 miles per hour, nice and steady. But then just that little twist of the wrist, and this thing wants to go. Quick shifter up and down, really nice and smooth. Even at the lower rev range, the shifter's really smooth. That was one thing I found on the V2. In the lower rev range, it was a little bit clunky, and then when you got on it, in the twisties, it started to liven up. But yeah, V4, very nice, very smooth. The clutch feels quite heavy, even though it is obviously a hydraulic clutch. It's got a quite heavy clutch pull to it. Now looking at the heart of this bike, this has got some serious numbers to it. Now we're hitting up 120 newton meters of torque, which it's a good number. It's not massive, but the brake horsepower in this is ridiculous. 214 brake horsepower. I mean, you tell me why those numbers are needed for a bike like this. Crazy numbers. In the UK, rarely are you going to be able to fully utilise those figures unless you're on track or unless you should go abroad. Looking at the ergonomics then, I'm 6'1", 120 kilos, and I'd say this is not as aggressive as last year. For me personally, last year was on the more extreme kind of sports bike stance, whereas this, I don't know, maybe it's just been a while since I was on the 24 V4, but yeah, it's actually quite comfortable. There's a little bit of lean onto the wrists, but the handlebar is nice and wide, it's nice and flat. The shape of the tank means your legs really tuck into it. The pegs are quite high, but I've still got enough room to move me toes around. The mirrors, again, my elbow's covering up at least 50% of them. Just make them a little bit wider, that's all I'd need. Honestly, the stock exhaust note on this is delicious. Ducati know how to make a good sounding bike. Now looking at the new 6.5-inch screen, there's a few parameters that we can change. We've got multiple different rider modes, from road, wet, race and sport, and you can go in and then change the parameters of each of those as well. To change the riding mode, you are going to push the mode button on the left hand side switch gear, use the arrows go up and down to get onto the mode you want, and then push the enter button, come off the throttle, and there you go. And yeah, there's there are so many different parameters, from power modes, the engine braking, the Ducati wheelie control, the traction control, the slide control. Like, there are so many different parameters that you can change. You can really fine tune each rider mode to you. Me personally, I would just use wet and sport. Now the Streetfighter V4S is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Like, in my mind, this isn't a bike that you're getting to do any form of long distance touring on. Don't get me wrong, you will be able to. But if that's your goal for your riding, this ain't going to be it. This is an absolute Sunday fun bike. Yeah, you'll be able to do some touring if you want, but coming out on a day like this is the one you want to be pulling out of your garage, isn't it? It's the one that'll be turning heads when you rock up to that calf. The V4S comes in, brace yourself, at just shy of £25,000. You can get the V4 if you want, and that is going to save you a little bit of money. But honestly, at this point, you might as well just get the V4S. The suspension on this is absolutely lapping up every bit of bumps. Like, this road is pretty bumpy, and it's just soaking it up so nicely. Talking of the suspension, we do have O-lins front and rear, and they are adjustable, but honestly it's doing a great job with me on it, straight from factory. This bike is one of those bikes that is just way too easy to ride fast. One of those ones where you don't realise how quick you are going because you're just intoxicated by the sound of the exhaust, the engine that's just gurgling between your legs. There are some vibrations coming through the bike, but honestly, absolutely nothing to shout home about. Type that give you a little tickle in your crotch to let you know you're on a nice bike. Yeah. Now I am in sport mode, and the throttle response, as soon as you start twisting it, it's there, it wants to go, and it just encourages you to twist it a little bit more. And then you listen to the gurgle.
Now the V4S isn't for the short riders. Remember, 6'1", and I cannot go flat-footed on either side. I don't know, the bike and the tank is quite skinny, so it's not that it's forcing my legs out. It's just a tall bike, coming in at 845mm. If you are a shorter, more vertically challenged person, this may not be the bike for you. Toes, knee, hip ratio, like, it is that comfortable position. I say you just kind of really blend in with the bike really nicely. And with that shape of the tank, we don't have the biggest, we've got 16 litres between our legs, but again, more than enough to have that Sunday fun, and then somewhere to pull over and stop because, well, let's face it, your bum might be a little bit hot. One thing you do really notice when you are out riding, especially in the twisties and the fast twisties as well, and then again when you're stationary, is the weight of this bike is pretty low. Like, we're coming in at fully fueled around the 205 kilos. It just makes for handling so nice, and like I said, with the wide handlebars as well, it just means dipping it into the corner is just super easy. One thing I was finding out on the roads is the brakes, I'd call them progressive. Like, they're not sharp, they're not as soon as you get on them, you're starting to dip in. Like, actually, it takes a little bit of time, so you've got the progressiveness of the brakes. Personally, everyone's different. I like to be, when I'm on the brakes are happening. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Like, I know Zoe prefers the more progressive braking style of a bike, so she can then implement how much braking power she wants. For me, I like to be kind of one finger, two finger, pulling that and knowing that's going to get me stopped enough. Now, the braking power is absolutely more than enough when you start getting onto it. So at the front, we've got twin 330mm discs, Brembo calipers, and in the rear we've got 245. Like, there's nothing more you'd be asking for from the brakes, but it's just kind of how the braking style happens on this bike is more progressive than immediate. Now, I'm pretty sure I said 6.5 inch, but actually it's 6.9 inch, even bigger. And yeah, left hand side, that's where those different screens are going to be. So your lean angle, your G-force meter, your power and your torque, and then obviously your general kind of information on the bike. And then on the right hand side, that's where you can easily adjust the engine braking, the wheelie control, the ABS, the traction control, and the slide control for whatever mode you're in, if you don't want to then go and change all the parameters of that mode. This is where you go into each mode if you want. Power mode. On the power, you got full, high, mid, and low. Obviously, because we do have the electronic suspension of the O-lins, we can change from active to fix suspension, kind of whatever your riding style is and where you're riding. It's certainly one thing you cannot say about the Streetfighter, that it is not an ugly bike. Like, they've taken the styling and that kind of overall aggressiveness from the Panigale and whacked it into a naked form. Like, we've even got the large winglets sticking out on the side. Now, in the UK, do you go fast enough for the winglets to do anything? Probably not. Do they look cool? Yes. Looking at the front, we've got nice, sleek LED indicators, really nice to see. We've got the really nice kind of daytime running lights over the top, and then just our normal headlights underneath. I just think it looks very dominating for the road. When you see it coming towards you, you know exactly what bike it is, don't you? We have still got that nice underslung exhaust, but the exhaust does wrap around there, so that's why your right leg is going to feel a little bit of heat when you are riding. But hey, maybe in the winter, if you ever took this out, you'd be appreciative of it. Well, that's enough standing around. I'm going to get back on and carry on enjoying this bike.
Honestly, with this bike, you don't need gears 3, 4, 5 and 6. First and second is absolutely all you would need. Like, it's one of them, isn't it? Like, there's absolutely no need for 214 brake horsepower in a naked bike. But when you jump on it, it just makes sense. You're like, yes! Give me the throttle! You just want to go quick on this thing. Now, one thing I haven't seen is a fuel gauge, fuel indicator, which is a shame. I don't just want to have a fuel light, because on a bike like this with only 16 litres, I don't know how many miles I've got when it comes on. I would just like to have that extra warm fuzzy feeling inside and to know how much fuel I've got. Now, I believe you can add cruise control, and that is certainly something I would add. Same with the Streetfighter V2. It just means you can put it on and just kind of rest a little bit, because the V2 and the V4 are on the more aggressive side of the seating position, so having cruise control would just allow you to kind of rest that wrist every now and then. It's not too bad, but like I said, this isn't something I'd get to do long distance, and cruise control is definitely also aided for long distance riding, less fatigue, etc. But reality, this bike is absolutely at home on these type of fast, twisty roads, unlike this little VW Polo. Can't park there, mate. It's one of them, if you want to ride slowly and smoothly, you can. But then if you want to have a little bit of fun, you just twist. Doesn't matter what gear you're in. And I say earlier, the exhaust note is absolutely intoxicating on this. For me, it's like a really deep, grungy gurgle. I like the word gurgle. Yeah. And then still in sport mode, sat in some traffic. Just get it to your 30-40 mile an hour, and you can just poodle along. This thing can definitely get a little bit lofty, so playing around with the Ducati wheelie control may save your bacon every now and then. Say it's so light, it just flicks from side to side. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, found it useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to come and test out this beautiful machine, then you got to head over to Riders in Bridgwater. As always, a big thank you to them for lending this to me. And if you want to check out my full review on the Ducati Streetfighter V2, then check out this video here.